Usually when we think about doing contract, relax, or PNF for our hamstring flexibility and the lying on the back hamstring stretch, we're talking about contracting our hamstrings while they're in lengthened position. That's a great drill. I'll link to the video for that variation in the description of this video. But today, we're actually going to talk about a different kind of engagement. We're still going to be stretching our hamstrings, but for the contracting, we're going to be contracting our hip flexors that help our muscles on the other side of the joint. And this uses something called reciprocal inhibition, where our body is smart enough that if we're contracting the muscles on one side of the joint, the muscles on the other side have to relax to let movement happen. So if I'm trying to kick my knee towards my chest, my body knows to relax my hamstrings to allow my knee to lift. If it contracts muscles on two sides of the joint, our leg isn't going to actually move. So this is a really sneaky way to get a little bit more A, length in our hamstrings while we're stretching, and B, strengthen the muscles on the other side of the joint, which is something that leads to more flexibility over time. So we're going to start in a supine hamstring stretch with a strap. I'll show a couple different ways to set this up depending on your current level of flexibility, so you can pick one that feels challenging but achievable in your body. Option number one, for my tighter hip friends, I would suggest keeping your knees bent. That means one knee is going to be bent, foot staying on the floor. Other knee, I'm going to have strap on my foot, and it's going to be a little bent. I don't want you to lock it out all the way straight if you can't quite get that foot to lift to 90 degrees. If you can get that foot to 90, go ahead, keep it straight. But if your foot's stuck out here and you're really tugging, we're going to bend that knee a little bit until we can bring that foot to pointing up towards the ceiling to start. We want our starting position to feel like a deep hamstring stretch, something that feels like your end reach, something that feels like 10 out of 10. This is as deep as I feel like it can comfortably, safely stretch. For folks where hanging out with your leg here is easy and you can pull it in really far towards your chest, we can make our starting position a little harder by either straightening our non-stretched leg on the floor. So when we pull this leg in, our hips are slightly rotated forwards, which makes it more challenging on these hamstrings. If this still feels easy to you and you can get that leg pretty close to your chest, we can start with our hips elevated on a block and our other leg straight. Don't let that knee bend. That lets you rotate those hips. Keeping that leg straight, heel on the floor, is going to rotate our hips even farther forwards, make it more challenging to have that deep hamstring stretch to start with. I'll show this in the easier version of the stretch, but I want you to start in whatever feels like your deepest hamstring stretch. You're pulling that leg in as much as possible. We're using the strap for support, so our arms are pulling our leg into the stretch here. We're just going to hang out, breathe in this stretch for a couple moments, taking a couple slow, deep breaths. And then for our contract rounds, instead of kicking our leg away from our chest, which is one way we can do this, we're going to be super cool. We're going to go no hands. So I'm going to start squeezing my thigh, trying to bring my knee towards my chest before I let go of that strap. So I'm starting with my quads and my hip flexors engaged. I'm going to let go of that strap. Our leg might bounce back a teeny bit. I want you to keep squeezing it and keep the muscles in the front of that thigh engaged. Keep kicking that foot towards your chest for 10 seconds. Just keep breathing. If you see your leg shake, that's okay. That means your muscles are just a little fatigued and tired. After 10 seconds, we're going to grab that strap, then relax the leg, then pull it back into whatever feels like your deepest hamstring stretch. You might notice you can immediately pull that leg a little bit deeper if you're lucky. We're going to hold this relaxed stretch for about 20 seconds. And if you're getting the quakes here, that's okay too. And then we'll repeat for another 2 to 3 rounds of letting go of the strap, squeezing that leg in, actively kicking that leg towards our chest for 10 seconds, then grabbing the strap, relaxing the leg, pulling it in to a deeper stretch.
If you want to learn more stretches like this, you should totally check out the Flexopedia on my website. It's a free online library of stretches with detailed how-tos for both passive stretches and active stretches organized by muscle group. You can access the Flexopedia by going to dannywinksflexibility.com/Flexopedia or simply click the link in this video description.